Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth United Kingdom. This show is going to be about Flat Earth debates from Flat Earth discussions. Joining me this evening is Ben from Matrix Decode YouTube channel. How are you doing, Ben?
Hey Nathan. Hey everyone. Yeah, good. I'm doing good, thanks, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Can't complain. And we've also got Vincent of channel FreeChan. How are you doing, Vincent?
I'm great. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. I'm great. How are you doing?
Again, not bad. Can't complain. And last but not least, we've got Ian Leahy. How are you doing, Ian?
Yeah, good, thank you. And yourself? I'm glad you're doing well. How's that baby of yours?
Yeah, keeping me up. If I fall asleep, you'll know the answer to that question halfway through the show. So
no worries.
Pretty good. We will also be joined slightly later on by Stephen Chess and perhaps a couple of other guests who I've also handed out the link to, so they may be surprises, but I'm pretty sure Stephen will join us shortly. So as I opened up the show, we are talking about Flat Earth debates. Are they useful? Are they productive? Have the newbies who join Flat Earth been scared into not talking to us at all because of the diatribe they will receive from globehead believers in channels with the same name as the title of this video, such as Flat Earth Debates and Flat Earth Discussions? I think Flat Earth Debates has recently changed its name, is it not, to Earth Debates? Is that right? No response from anybody.
Sorry, not sure. Sorry,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I came to free
Earth discussion.
Yeah, I think there's two, Ben. There's Flat Earth Discussions and Flat Earth Debates. They're the two platforms that I certainly used to look at now. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I came to FreeChan as a direct result of getting sick of these channels, because FreeChan has got something completely different to offer, which is more of a discussion, a genuine discussion panel where arguments aren't necessarily welcome, trolling isn't necessarily welcome, but playing guitar, talking about Flat Earth in general, or talking about the globe for that matter, is certainly welcomed. I mean, Vincent, you've been running the channel for a small amount of time now. It's a lot of hard work. How have you found that channel to be?
Well, it's really nice to have the to be on this channel, and to be honest, when I first met FreeChan, I didn't know what to expect. I'm sorry for my bad English, guys. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm in Rotterdam, so I'm sorry if I talk a little bit strange. But well, yeah, FreeChan is a platform for people, not debating. It's not shouting to each other. It's playing guitar, having fun to each other, and with each other, and it's a really nice place to be. And yeah, well. What can I say more about it? I only can give a shout out to Yvette and Snack to the Future, who opened the channel before, and FreeChan Light is on right now. And we are a community, and we are all together, and we are friends. And there's no shouting, no debating, no. It's just a discussion. You can play guitar, you can sing, you can do whatever you want, and it's really nice. It's something that I really like, and it's not talking over each other. It's great. It's great to be there.
Vincent, is it all based on? Is it flat earthers only? Is it, or is it all forms of truthers and things that go on there?
Well, everybody is welcome. If you're not a troll, you're welcome. And if you want to play guitar, if you want to sing a song, if you want to do something else, if you want to show something about your life, it's all right. It's okay. And it's not only about flat Earth. Well, to be honest, there are mostly flat Earthers there, and well, I think to be honest, everybody's welcome. If you don't, and you know, if you're yeah, well, you can see me on camera, and some people never come on camera, and it's fine by me. But
I think I'd never heard of it really, apart from last week.
Yeah, you told me.
Dryson? Do you know Martin Dryson? He's in Amsterdam. He's just outside Amsterdam, I think. He's a flat earther, and he told me about your channel, and so I had a look at it, and he said, "Yeah, you should get involved. It's quite a good crack, and it is really good. It's really free and easy. It's like,
Yeah, it is.
There's no pressure. There's like literally no pressure, and it's quite. It's so open. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
It does
it
make
is.
a change from all of the. You can get some serious debated channels, and yours is completely different. It's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it is different. And what I wanted to say again, a shout out to Yvette and Snack to the Future, who opened the channel first. It was Free Chan, and it's now Free Chan Lite. And well, we are a community, and we are having fun about everything. You can talk about anything you want about your life. You can share things, what you're doing at this moment. You can share if you're in a hospital like me, like I did when I was in the hospital in September. Everybody was really nice to me, and I met a lot of friends, even I did not met them in real life. There's still some people I see as real friends, and that's something I never experienced on the internet. So it's a great thing. It's a really great thing.
I mean, certainly at the beginning of my flat Earth career, if you want to call it that, I was watching people like Ben and David Weiss and JLB on the Ball Earth Skeptic Roundtable, as a lot of people who are watching this will also have done. And they sort of were the originators of that kind of debating format. But it was a very controlled environment. It was a very pleasant environment. It might have got heated at times, but there was certainly no shouting each other down and muting each other. That certainly didn't take place when Ben was doing that. It was a discussion as much as it was a debate, and there certainly were some heated debates on that show. I mean, how did you find that experience, Ben?
Yeah, show. Well, that was I guess about just over a year ago now, and doing it with John LeBon and David. Great time. I mean, back then, not many people were doing flat Earth shows that I can remember, and yeah, it was get the opinions of different, prominent flat earthers, and be part of the discussion. And since then, since we finished the show, other people have taken on, doing these kind of hangouts and discussion shows, interview shows, and it's been, really cool. And I'm really enjoying it,
I mean, on the shows that are running now, you seem to have this massive wall of cognitive dissonance on both sides. For, if you want to boil it down to just this, which isn't necessarily the case, but if you want to boil it down to flat Earth versus globe Earth, or heliocentrism or heliocentric beliefs, then you've got any argument that's put forward on the debating channels, or even amongst some of the more focused debates that we see, will be put forward and essentially ignored. They'll be met with an alternative argument, but not necessarily just taken on its merits. And as I say, that's true for globe heads listening to flat Earth arguments, and flat earthers listening to globe arguments, which are often quite useful. The more globe understanding you have, the better you can argue your point. But when you watch it in these platforms, people literally ignoring them, and indeed in the comments afterwards, in the assessment of the debate by the people who are actually taking this in or consuming the information by watching, they actually don't recognize the other person's side of the story. Did you find that on the debates themselves, Ben, when you were doing them on the Ball Earth Skeptic Roundtable?
Sorry, Nathan.
Did your internet drop a little bit for that last question? Did you find that when you were debating with people on Ball Earth Skeptic, that they would ignore your arguments for flat Earth?
Well, an episode, which was episode 11, where we debated Red's rhetoric, and he brought along his pal Dilla, and Yeah, I mean, they presented their arguments, and they were trying to prove the ball, and John and I were arguing against it, and you know, it's difficult out there. You know, some people are just more open-minded than others.
I don't remember the debate with Red's Rhetoric or that particular episode, but I could imagine he was his usual petulant self, and that did descend into an argument and a bit of shouting. Am I right?
Well, you know, I mean, Red's Rhetoric, and you know, it's the usual style of laughing attitude, you know, and not really, yeah, you know, typical stuff.
We've been joined by Stephen Chess. How you doing, Stephen?
Hey, how you doing, Nathan? Ben, Ian, what's up? Fourth
Vincent.
guest, I don't...
Vincent. Ben Vincent.
Hi.
Not Ben, Stephen, sorry.
Hey.
Hey, Stephen.
What's up, Vincent?
I'm okay. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing well.
All right then.
Yours was, again, a very early debate that I watched. Stephen Chess, not Ben, my apologies. So yeah, you got right into it with Stefan Molyneux, and that was certainly an interesting experience to watch. How did that come about, by the way?
I spent a long time watching Stefan before learning about Flat Earth, and you know, at the time I was an atheist, and I pretty much followed all of his debates with Christians, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, he's totally right, these Christians don't have a single foot on him. And then once I learned about the Flat Earth and I continued to listen to him, it sort of dawned on me that the things he was saying are now easily disproven with the Flat Earth. You know what I mean? He's saying, oh, there's no proof of God, you know, this and that. But it's just, this just destroys all of that, destroys everything. So I thought, you know, just start berating him in his comment box, and then one day his co-host posted a email address, like a fan thing for the show, and I sent an email to them saying, oh, this is the proof of God, I'll debate you, I don't give a shit, you know. And he didn't respond to me for like months and months and months. So I was still in his comment section, just going on and going on and going on, because he would still continue like he'd never even seen it, but I knew he had. So I continued to like call him a coward and that kind of stuff, you know, to like you know, egg him on to get him to want to fight me, you know.
So you're baiting him.
Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, but when you actually did go on, there was plenty of moments of cognitive dissonance, you know, that you were having to fill the gaps.
I mean, that's how it is with everything. Most people don't understand much about anything. So when you're talking about any subject, you're like, this is what one side believes and this is what the other side believes, you know. It's just, and I think that they're both wrong, you know. It's just, people don't really have too much of a grasp on current events, you know, cosmology, anything.
I mean, in that case, do you think that when someone witnesses your debate, specifically your debate, do you think the average Joe who watches that will just fall back into their own cognitive dissonance and ignore the very valid arguments that you put forth? Or do you think they would actually take on board the valid arguments that you put forward?
Well, I've had many people message me in the comments and afterwards saying that that was the video that they saw that woke them up, which is cool. But this group of people, you know, highly dogmatic atheists, I'm surprised that I got any of them. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. You know, that I mean, it doesn't surprise me because I've watched it and it was an excellent debate, very calm, very measured, and very concise. You know, all the points you put forward are great, but we don't get that now for somebody who potentially joins, and I say joins loosely, you know, realizes the truth or even just recognizes the heliocentric deception. If they just have questions and they want to discuss them as opposed to, you know, go into the hell pit that is the comment section, they have a few places to turn. I mean, we've discussed 3chan, which is a very nice platform. I watch it pretty much daily. It's just a nice place to I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but while away time, just chat with a few people who are nice and pleasant to talk to. That's a nice way to be. And flat earth does get discussed there. And I often see, people who are fairly prominent flat earthers in there actually on the channel discussing it. But there are other alternative platforms that people can also join very easily, and they will be shouted down by people who are far better versed in the heliocentric system and the way that the deception actually works. I'll phrase that very carefully. They obviously, in their heart of hearts, believe that they're peddling the truth. They're peddling absolutes, they're peddling facts, and therefore they are met themselves with a wall of cognitive dissonance when someone like yourself, Stephen, puts a cogent argument. It will get stamped on, muted on, and I've experienced this myself. You get your volume turned down or you're muted completely. So it's one where maybe in the progression that we have seen in flat earth, we have reached a stage where the platforms aren't as well thought out or as well mannered as perhaps they could be. And what other alternatives can we offer other than free chan and discussions like we're having now?
Just regular old voice of mouth, or word of mouth, I guess you say. That's what's been most successful. I agree. That's been what's most successful for me.
I think word of mouth, talking to people, really strangely, right? You only need to convince one other person for them to go and convince another person at some point, which they will do. But just talking about the cognitive dissonance, I live in Swanage, as you know. It's a small seaside town, and there are more churches there than you can shake a stick at. There literally are. I don't know how many there are, but for a small place, there's more churches than nearly as many as pubs. And every time we had a Christmas card come through the business we've got there, and he's obviously, and I said, "Oh, are you a vicar? Are you any one of these vicars?"
Seems we have lost Ian. I don't know if his battery's died on his phone.
Yeah, he
Slight
had
disaster.
some problems before, so I think you will be back in a moment.
Hopefully, yeah, with a little bit of luck, we'll get Ian back. So, have you had people on your show, Vincent, that are non-flat earthers and have actually discussed the topic of flat earth to their advantage, to their benefit? Has that happened on FreeChan?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I am not FreeChan, I'm Vincent. I'm streaming for FreeChan, and yes, of course, we have people who think it's a globe, and they are welcome to join the panel or to discuss something. And it's not a debate. We're not talking over each other. We're not shouting to each other. It's I'm not promoting this channel in this moment. It's just my experience that I have. And FreeChan is for me a platform that everybody can have a really nice time. And yeah, of course we are having people don't believe in the globe, but they're searching for it. They're searching for the truth, and I think it's a good thing.
Very different to flat earth debates and flat earth discussions, where they have, dogmatic believers in the globe who are there solely to shout down flat earthers. It seems like their job. They seem to be in there daily. But yeah, sorry, we've got Ian back now. How you doing, Ian?
Sorry, well, I was talking about the church, and I wasn't sure if I was struck by a bit of lightning or anything, and I don't know what happened. Sorry. In all fairness, I was talking back to it, and anyway, the business comes through, and the Christmas card comes through, and they sign it by all the denominations of the whatever goes on in the religious thing in this town. And I give it to him. I said, "Oh, are you a man of the cloth?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, obviously you're a religious man." And I asked all of them, all of the vicars, and there's, like I said, there's hundreds of them. And you say, and every time they come in, you walk past, you say, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, man of the cloth, yeah, how are you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Listen, I've got a question for you." I said, "I know it sounds mad, but I said, what shape is the Earth?" And they, "Oh, well, obviously science, it's a globe." And I think, "Oh, okay, thanks very much." And then I don't say anything. And then if I see him again, I say, "Oh, the globe thing. I said, and I start trying to point them out to biblical verses and say, do you think any of these could be not a globe? You know, do you think, you know, obviously space doesn't exist. Obviously space exists and all these planets, and, you know, we see it all the time, and they're going along with it. And I say, well, see this bit here about the firmament, and I try and give them all these bits, and it doesn't register. Not a single thing registers, and it's like, it's really difficult. And I think, listen, everybody's got their thing if they believe whatever they believe, okay, but the indoctrination into Christianity to not believe their own book, to understand what shape and what they're actually living on, I find it incredible.
Absolutely.
I find it absolutely incredible. And it's so, you know, talking to people, I still think is the best thing, because if you keep on, they get it. Some people you talk to, the penny drops, and, you know, even in my family, and my wife hates all this stuff, but my 16-year-old daughter, and I might have mentioned it before, she gets it. She's got it, you know, and she's far brighter than I ever was, that sort of thing, and she's got it. And it's nice to have a conversation of sorts with her, and you know, to try and educate her into what I've now discovered as being the truth, and say, listen, go and have a look. And she does occasionally. She's doing her A levels and stuff in history, which is like, oh my god, I don't even want to go there. You've got to go and learn about a load of nonsense, mate. But you know, it's really difficult as a dad, because I shouldn't say this, but with the mother, with Lisa, obviously my wife, she wants her to do well. She wants her to get A levels, to learn the subject and develop the subject, and, you know, and go and create your career out of this subject. I'm thinking, it's all rubbish. She's going to learn a load of nonsense, because most of it's not even real. It's made up or contorted or twisted or changed depending on which subject, you know, which era she's doing at the time. But so yeah, difficult.
Well, Dell brought this up. I mean, Dell, the guy from Beyond the Imaginary Curve, had a show. It may even still be running. I started while he was still going. But he essentially had put out there, anybody who has claims, come and put your claims on my show, and we'll discuss them. We will debate them. And of course, there was very few takers. Very few people came forward. But one of his guests had an extremely valid point, which is the education system is here to teach you how to repeat things. That's it. What would be wonderful is if kids got a lesson in critical thinking. That would be the ideal. Well, we don't. We have an education system that teaches us how to repeat things verbatim and take tests. That's what it teaches. But
it's designed for that, Nathan. That's the whole point of it. I mean, it's the whole enslavement of the mind of humanity in one form or another, to, you know, to guide them to be subservient, to keep feeding that system of the elite. You know, it's bloody nonsense. It really is. And at some point, I mean, God, it's got to change. And I want that's the point of the flat Earth. It's not just you understand, you know, the shape of the Earth is what it is, and there may well be a firmament, and it's all completely different to how you're taught. It's going forward. It's going forward to the future, and I see it now, and I see it with my children. And I'm thinking, crikey, you know, it's got to come out, the whole thing, and it has to be discussed at a level or on a forum which is gonna touch everybody. It's got to, you know, YouTube, what are the hits? 15 million maybe, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. But yeah, maybe there should be a channel or a forum specifically, or a couple of major big channel forums where, you know, flat earthers can go in and out, topics of the day, whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to do that, but there's got to be something more than the flat earth itself, even though we're discovering new stuff every day. I want to see it. It's got to come into mainstream. And I know Mark Sargent, all the rest of it, and it's a big thing for Mark to get it into the mainstream, to awaken as many people as possible, which I think is a fantastic thing. But how can we do that via a format like this? I don't know.
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, with this format itself, we are subservient to YouTube in terms of who they will put our videos, you know, whose nose they will be put under. That's down to you.
And let's be fair, we're under no illusion that they must be controlled in some form or another, and censorship of views and even getting messages out there. I mean, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's allowed to go up to this certain amount of millions. I mean, but if I'm trying to work out if the growth is between 2 years has been from 60,000 to 13 million, the next should be exponentially larger and larger, shouldn't it? Or not? I don't know. And that's why I think YouTube will only give a finite amount of voice to people like the flat Earth community, as it were. And I don't know if like I say, if you should have a big forum, a big YouTube forum, which, you know, I don't know, should be promoted to death, really.
Well, definitely, but like I say, we're subservient to the people who run the channel, and the channel is YouTube. I mean, yes, there's other alternatives. There's Twitch and a few others, and you could do it yourself. You know, there's nothing stopping people setting up their own streaming websites. But you know, the mainstream, if it expands into that, you know, it's totally controlled and contrived. You know, fake news is all in the news at the moment, and the reality is, news is fake. You know, this word fake news to try and convince people of websites that are putting out nonsense. They'll only show you the ones they want to show you, while the other nonsense that's their controlled nonsense is never going to get labelled as fake news. The reality being all of it is fake. That's the reality. You know, hopefully it backfires and people wake up to that reality. But in terms of how we get it to go mainstream, we ignore what they call mainstream. Their controlled, contrived media. And you summed it up beautifully, Ian. Word of mouth, talking to people, not being terrified to mention the word flat earth to people, or not being terrified to broach the subject of the lies that we've been told about the globe, where people's assumptions lie. That is something that, rather than looking at their tools and their systems, i.e. the television, and indeed this, you know, being bold enough to go out technically into the street, but just talking to your neighbour or a friend or family.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I see before when we were first aware of it, was it Mark Sargent again? Sorry, Mark. He said, you know, don't talk to your family about it. Don't just rush in and start telling, because they'll think you're nuts. But now we've had a year or two to understand more about the globe than most people we debate about. It's easier to talk to people because we got tons of shit. We got ammo to back it all up. That's the thing. We get it now. You know, and they say, well, how about this? How about that? And and it was the eclipses. How do they work? And well, I'll tell you what, mate, we actually bloody know now, and about this, and you know, the Southern Star and all that. Well, we know now. So we've got pretty much all the bases covered. So I think confidence level to go and talk to people now should be really a main thing. And I like the guy, there's a Dutch guy, I think, who's doing this flat earth conference. I don't know how big that flat earth conference is, but yeah, conferences and things like that, you know, I know we have to get the numbers out. So
I mean, debating is one thing. While we go off on a slight tangent, we've got Ben here who's like going out and actually having a little look for himself, having a little dabble, and doing, you know, experimentation rather than discussing and debating and theorizing. You know, I don't know if you can. Are you there, Ben? You're currently on mute.
Yeah,
Screwed
I
away.
can hear you.
I mean, yeah. Wouldn't you say that of the two, just going out and forget discussing it with other people when you can have a look for yourself and everything's open for grabs at the moment?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so much discovery to be made, and you know, I just love going out there and filming the Earth. You know, I see the world in a whole different way now, and see such beauty in everything I film in doing the experiments. And yeah, there's so much more to discover, and I think people are making discoveries. I think that I'm learning things every time I film something.
And this is what I'm kind of trying to steer this show towards, the point of how much benefit is there in debating. I mean, we can debate with globers to prove a point to other globers, but ultimately we have already accepted that the globe is a lie. So how much benefit is there in people's indoctrination being broken? Personally, I think you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So in my humble opinion, there isn't a great deal of benefit to debating with somebody who simply won't see it. You'll just have that wall of cognitive dissonance. They will ignore any valid points that you have and hold on to their existing beliefs, no matter what you tell them. So how much benefit is that when us have this amazing realization that, like Ben, we can go out and have a look, we can do things for ourselves, you know, forget the criticism that Jeren 12 months ago and came under for doing laser tests. Now I look back on that and it makes me smile. I just think how fantastic that is, to be in a position where we can actually question the very nature of the ground beneath our feet and go out with modern day tools. Ben's example would be cameras, and now gyroscopically controlled cameras that are on drones. That's amazing to know that we're a part of that in this modern age. Would you all agree?
Yeah, it's fascinating. We're in information age, technology. It's awesome. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, I was just going to say I like the thing where you say you're seeing things with new eyes, and I think that's true, because everything now is. Don't forget, the whole concept of everything you believe before flat Earth is changed. It's different, and because it's wrong and it's not reality. And I think every day now you're working out what reality is, and it's brilliant. It's a great thing. Flat Earth has done that for me personally, like no other conspiracy has ever done, and I'm sure that's the same for all of us. And that's how reality is for me now.
Ben said two words there which were crucial, which is the information age. And Theora Hypothesis did a recent video about just that subject, about the control of information. And I'll preface this with why he was having his rant in this particular instance. And it's a pretty serious issue, although I smile, because of the nature of how he presents the information, not because of the information itself. But he writes Amazon book reviews, and he is a purchaser and reader, more importantly, of these books. And he then goes to Amazon and writes honest reviews. He also writes lots of articles, but this was specific to Amazon reviews. And Amazon have decided to purge many of these reviews because they want the information, or the control and distribution of the information held within these books, to be at their control, and therefore honest reviews from people like Theora Hypothesis just get purged very literally. And it's because this is what gives them control. The systems we talk about when we talk about the mainstream, or indeed the internet, are controlled systems. And when we talk about, this kind of bugs me, but living in the matrix, well, what is the reality that we accept? Well, we accept the reality that's presented to us on the two-dimensional screens that we view all day long. The idiot box that is the TV presents it at 30 frames a second, and it just beams into you while you sit there in your vegetative couch potato state. And when you feel you have more control over it, i.e. you go to Google and type in a search, it's an illusion of being able to obtain information. That search engine is a controlled device. It's not you looking up that information. And the point Theora Hypothesis made was that if you actually have the information, it doesn't necessarily have to be paper and ink. It could be a DVD of that book that's in your possession. Then that can't be changed, it can't be altered, unlike the book reviews on Amazon, which have all just been recently purged. But the control of information is where they currently have us, and this is kind of where what we're doing now, wonderful that it reaches people, we just don't know how or why it might reach the people it has already, and whether or not they'll be able to reach it in the future. This is a completely controlled platform. I can see you nodding, Stephen. Did you have something you wanted to add to that? Oh, you're nodding no now.
I'm good. It is kind of bittersweet, because you have all these people who follow what they've heard their whole lives, and they're part of a cult, and what you get when you follow a cult is a similar death as the rest of the cult. It's just sort of a similar place that you're going to, because you're all doing the same thing. If you don't have your own mind to question the things that you've been told, it's hard to listen to someone like me who comes along and says, everything's all wrong, the world's upside down and it's flat.
Being told the world's upside down is quite scary at the moment for me, when there's a what's the word? Something that's diametrically opposed to the current understanding of beliefs. And Ian spoke earlier about the religious man who has a difficulty understanding the shape of the earth. I mean, I had the same thing when I spoke to my pastor uncle. You know, he'd just come back from debating Richard Dawkins, going back to the Big Bang Theory, and saying, my uncle was saying to him, you need to go back further. But when I present him with flat earth, he's like, well, the scientists tell us that it's a globe. You know, in other words, complete cognitive dissonance. And it's difficult to explain to an atheist who comes to flat earth that you don't necessarily just have to go to the Bible immediately, because it is set up, in my opinion, as, or to be the polar opposite of the current heliocentric beliefs. You know, they're worked in opposition, and there's even many, you know, videos out there where they'll show the complete direct contrast in heliocentric beliefs versus Christian beliefs and what's written in the Bible. So that to me is quite scary, that we might be led down that path once more. Anybody else feel the same way?
Well, let's see, you know, how far you get with an atheist saying, you know, the earth is flat and the Bible's totally true. Everything you've done, you're totally responsible for. You know, they'll probably be like, no, speak to Richard Dawkins, you know, the earth's obviously a globe.
Yeah, and that sets us in a constant back and forth between the, it gets weaseled in as a belief. You know, if the Bible has its heading as a belief system and it says the earth is flat, and that's being used idly all the time as a so-called proof of flat earth, it turns off a lot of people who, you know, they are just normal Joe average. They're not belief driven. They're just accepting, like we were, all of us on this panel, that they just live on a globe. It's just the accepted, you know, that is just the accepted standard that we adhere to. So to challenge them and then put in their way the idea that they must believe in God just sets them off on a debate about whether or not there is or isn't a God, rather than just a simple fact of, you know, a matter of fact, there is no curvature. You know, that's far more simplistic than trying to get into the nature of where we came from, which I feel we can't go, we haven't got time machines. You know, we may never ever have the answer to what's in the past. Doesn't mean we can't figure out how the sky works. But the lack of curvature is all kind of flat earth is about to me, not about necessarily finding God.
No curvature detected.
Say again, Vincent?
I said no curvature detected.
Yeah, that sounds simplistic, but it's true. That's pretty much it. Yeah. There's not much more to it.
Yeah.
I can see you smiling away, Ian.
Nathan, did I just hear that right? That the flat Earth has not done anything else for you apart from understand there's no curvature. Did I hear that right?
No, pretty much. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I haven't been empowered, because as a direct consequence of flat Earth, I appreciate that we haven't got answers to questions that we thought we had answers to. And if that's the case, then everything's up for grabs. And that is empowering. You know, I realize my own inner ability as a direct consequence of realizing how many belief systems I had indoctrinated into me. You know, being able to turn around and see all the deceptions of the world, it massively opens up your mind to huge amounts of possibilities. But beyond that, again, this is, you know, in light of just watching Dell, what's actually provable? What can you empirically prove? That's all we can really approach people with. Beyond that, you're presenting them with your own belief systems and your own conclusions, which are based on theory. And that's what we're trying to escape from. The ability to say, I don't know, is often lost on many people. You're all nodding and saying, yeah, and you're all muted.
Yeah, sorry. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. It's done something different to me. It's annoyed me in a way, because, you know, like everybody else, I really wanted space to be true. And so you lose all that, like, years of sci-fi thinking, and you watch it now and it's just a slightly different way you watch it now and think, oh yeah, okay, it's still good, but sure, you know. So yeah, but it's much more than flat Earth. It's so much bigger than that. It's not just the fact there's no curvature or there's a dome or whatever. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. It's not just the shape of the Earth. It's every single deception that's led us to wake up and go, oh my God, the Earth is literally flat. It is not a ball. And then going backwards, you're uncovering at least 500 years of deception. Then you've got to go back even further and far and far and far. And then all of a sudden evidence sort of gets a little bit sketchy. And like you say, you're going on to theories and ancient beliefs and cultures, which really do have a lot of merit, I think, still anyway. But I think truths are coming to people. Evidence is being found. Things are happening. And my consciousness has changed. Like what Ben was saying earlier, the world's changed for all of us, I think, or for me specifically, in everything. Never believed in God. I still don't believe in the Christian God stuff. I don't believe it. But I watched the Eric Debay video. You must have all seen it, the I Am video. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating for me. Really rang a lot of bells with me. And I'm pretty much sitting with that thing at the moment. So that's where I am with it, and that's led me there. And I'm someone who believed, ate meat, and was a knobhead. Now I'm just a knobhead. No, but do you know what I mean? It changes you enough to see things completely differently, and be more humble and be more aware. I'm more awake and aware of everything now than I was before flat Earth. And I thought I was really awake, and I really did. I was really into it, to loads of stuff and conspiracy stuff. And now you sort of get a knowing, I think, more than just you think you might be right. You sort of understand things a little bit more. That's what I think the flat Earth that's what it's definitely done for me. So yeah, that was the only reason, Nathan. Sorry, I was just asking to see, if it meant more to you than that. And like you say, you said it opens up a lot of possibilities. But cool.
I do agree with it. The heliocentric deception is the biggest deception mankind has ever known. And I get annoyed for a similar, slightly different reason to you, which is that, when we've got people like Bob and Cammy, who in this field are most certainly amateurs, with Joe Blogg's public doing this sort of work, and they're talking about biorefringence and electromagnetism and these difficult to study features of our existence, and you think this is a challenge. It's a challenge to learn about it, which is exciting. But then if you did, I don't, but if you flicked on your TV and watched a discovery program about NASA, they would present you with nonsense. And then if you were to challenge that nonsense in these, debate forums with the experts, all about the subject, you're constantly bombarded with exactly that, a debate about their nonsense and lies. And we fully appreciate that we've been lied to. We know there's a deception, and we know where they're lying and how they're lying and what they're lying about. So it's very, very annoying. It makes me very angry to think, and this is a point Jaron's made time and time again, if Jaron, Jaron Campanella, if Jaron of Jaronism was the head of NASA, we'd have an answer to these questions tomorrow, because they have the budget, they have the equipment, they have the resources to give us these answers. But what they give us is cartoons and nonsense and debate about their cartoons and about their nonsense, which only serves to highlight their cartoons and highlight their nonsense further. For me, the only way forward is, we've discussed the one, word of mouth, but to turn your back on the magic show that they're currently presenting to everybody is the only way forward, to just say, no, I don't accept that anymore. It's not even up for debate. It's nonsense. Why debate?
Or
nonsense?
Violent, or complete violent revolution. But something's got to change. You've got to pull all of the...
An idiot. So, that's how I feel we may come across if we're debating with these idiots who believe this nonsense because they believe it. Well, we end up coming off looking as stupid as they. Maybe just turning our back on them completely is a better way to do it. That said, we've got Stephen Chess on here who has woken lots and lots and lots of people up with his one debate with Stefan Molyneux because it was structured, organised, and basically polite.
Well, I don't know. I have my moments of being polite, but I'm not.
Sure. Maybe in the comments section, we're both as bad as each other. On air, we're very polite and cordial.
I think we always are polite.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to pull any punches on that one. Just certainly Stephen and I don't pull any punches in the comment sections. On air, we're very, very cordial, but yeah, we won't pull any punches in the comment sections. But that there, it's a cesspit. I mean, I certainly know. I don't know if you'd agree with me, Stephen, that you're sinking to a certain level when you get involved in that in the comment section. Would you agree?
Well, it depends on the people that you're dealing with. I try to keep it cordial as often as possible, but sometimes I get angry. I was calm and collected when I was with Stefan, because I knew how many people were going to listen to it, and I knew how important it was.
So by contrast, do you think the comments serve any use at all?
It's not like anybody's gonna see them other than people or people you're sending it to. It's just kind of, there's an endless void of comments. You could look back, like 2 years. It's me and John the Morgile debating people on his channel. It's just over pointless stuff, that could go on for days. Like, oh, the flight scenario. How if it were a globe, it was so on. We can go on about that for hours with globalists, but it's just. Whoever got converted in a comment section?
Nobody, but I know plenty of people who got switched off. I mean, my own brother has told me in the past that he would go to one of my videos, pause the video, and read the comments. The video wouldn't even get watched. Go on, Ian.
I was just saying, I think the comment section, there is nothing better than when you're in there and you're getting bombarded. And it's gone on for hours, and then all of a sudden another flat earther comes in with a little bit of support like that. You think, come on, get in there. And then that's fine. You find that now. You go into any comment section, loads more flat earthers now than there are globers. Than there were before, obviously. And loads of these debate things, there are tons more flat earthers coming in with meme upon meme upon video, and it wasn't like that 18 months 2 years ago, that's for sure. So in that respect, I think we're holding our own in comment sections. They can get ridiculously crazy. I just turn around and I just say, let's if it all gets too much and there's something I can't do, I say, until you prove curvature, until you prove that Polaris moves, forget it. There's nothing else you can convince me with. It's like saying, if you believe in God, it's like me trying to tell you, no, you don't believe in God. It's that much now. I'm 100% convinced it's flat. There's no curvature. Polaris doesn't move. Show me the proof. Show me it all, and I will never speak of it again. Until then, everything you say is completely irrelevant if you can't prove those two simple things. Apart from, well, Polaris moves about this much, that much, and yeah, shut up, mate. Come on now, get real. So, sorry. So that's how it goes for me.
What about you, Ben? I mean, you're the longest serving here, if you want to call it that. Has it helped you be nice and calm in future discussions with people because you've debated it out and you've got a really good heliocentric understanding? Does that help? Hoping Ben heard that. Did you hear that, Ben? Maybe not. Maybe ask a similar question to Stephen. So if you can hear me, Stephen. Yeah, I mean, maybe not. Maybe moving forward, what kind of advice can we offer people? So people who come forward and say, well, I don't want to discuss flat Earth because I can't hold a good debate with somebody when I'm challenged. What advice would you give that person?
I don't know. It's like, are you going to advise someone who is like so, like I don't know, pumped up with the flat Earth in the first like 2 months? It's like they're gonna do what they're gonna want to do. They're gonna go tell their whole family. They're gonna tell random people on the street. They're gonna yell at them, "The Earth is flat." You know what I mean? It's just like, I can't tell. Hey, chill, man. Just wait a little while and get some more information under your belt and try and you know, not come about it like an insane person.
We've got Ben back. Hopefully he can hear me this time. Do you think, as the longest serving, probably flat earther on this panel for sure, would you say that having got all those debates and discussions about flat earth and getting your heliocentric ducks in a line, has that helped you be more calm and collected through your flat earth career? No, maybe not going to. We're never going to get an answer to that. Will we ever know if Ben is better prepared for having had debates? We may never know. We shall see.
No, to be honest, I'm not here for debating, as you know.
Well, no, I've said this many times. I mean, you've been quite reluctant to come on, and I know the reasons. It's because Free Chan aren't necessarily out to promote themselves and get huge viewing figures. They're there to provide a nice, happy platform for people to talk and discuss their happy existence without shouting at each other. But ultimately speaking, you'd still discuss flat Earth to a huge amount.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and it's free for everyone to join. I mean, the clue is in the title. But yeah, so that's, for me, it's been beneficial to me. I enjoy watching Free Chan, where I used to find myself getting annoyed at flat Earth debates. You know, I've unsubscribed from those channels because I didn't find them of any benefit. And we had people like Adam Dwyer, 4D4M, A4, who was screaming, constantly saying, you know, look at what they're doing on these channels. Look at the people who are populating these channels and what they do to the people who join. You know, he was shouting about them, muting him, turning him down, not letting him get a word in edgeways, getting banned, getting kicked. And all these things serve to frustrate somebody who may just want an answer to a question, and they're ultimately put on the spot where they have to defend their understanding of something that, as you said, Stephen, they may have only come to a couple of weeks ago, and they just want to get out there and talk about it with somebody.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Adam, A4, is welcome on Free Chan. He's got a lot of things to say, and he's got a lot of things that are real truth. I'm sorry for my bad English.
Didn't he say that he wanted to? Sorry.
Well, he's got a lot of things to say, and if you keep him allowed to say things, I'm sorry, I have a brain fart. He's got a lot of things to say. Don't ban him. He's okay. I'll come back later about it.
No, I agree. I mean, I recently shared one of Adam Dwyer's videos with the guys at Globebusters because they had people joining their live hangout and then people getting ejected. And Adam Dwyer had this, again, from being on Flat Earth debates, and he thought they were lying. People were just saying this was happening when it wasn't. So he fired up a hangout and titled it Sniping Prove It, and got somebody to come on and demonstrate it to him firsthand. And it was like, it was amazing to watch that. I mean, I watched that happen live, and I was just gobsmacked to see people actually come in, take over the hangout, kick the host. You know, in Adam's case, they couldn't actually kick the host, but, you know, Adam's, you know, a former coder, probably very, very adept at being able to, what's the word, conceal his computer or protect his computer. But nonetheless, we had a demonstration of people joining a hangout and kicking people out. It was crazy. You know, apparently there's a, you know, just an exploit that people have found in the software, which is terrible, you know, but seeing it happen meant that we actually got to witness it as a result of Adam Dwyer inviting people onto the chat so that they could actually boot him off his own channel potentially. But yeah, so he's a good researcher. He's actually found out how stuff happens, how stuff actually works. He's a very, very long-serving flat earther, and to me has been driven to distraction by endless trolls, you know, by trolling on channels like that. I mean, he subjects himself to it, but he's exposing quite a lot of what goes on, and I love that. I'm all for it. I invited him onto the show. He just hates me. You know, I don't know why. He's under the impression that I ban him all the time, which I do not.
A lot of people hate me too, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's sad because he's got a lot of good information, but he's very defensive, and more power to him if that's how he wants to be. Sometimes that's it, but sometimes he'll talk to me. I've had a conversation with him on a hangout. He had a conversation with me for maybe half an hour, and it was reasonably civil conversation. But like I say, I wanted him to come on this hangout to talk about what he experienced. He was, very difficult to get hold of, and when he did, he was reluctant to talk to me and doesn't trust me in the slightest. Fine, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Let's just try one last time. Ben, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Nathan.
Perfect. I will ask this question just because it would be almost comic if we don't get an answer now. So, after all of your experience when you were debating and getting, all of your heliocentric understanding really down through discussing it at length with people who believed it, and getting your understanding of flat Earth in a line, has that helped you as you've now we're for you probably a couple of years in, to be a lot more calm and reserved when you're talking about the subject?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a learning process, and you have to adapt. And it's like waking up. It's like I equate the whole awakening process to like have it metaphorically having your brain put through a grinder and then putting it back together again. It's really it's really traumatic to a lot of people. To find out the world isn't quite what you thought it was. And the whole process. That happened to me when I woke up about 5 or 6 years ago now. So flat Earth wasn't too much of a shock to me, but to a lot of people it is. Discovering this information now, and it's spreading. I'd say it's quite kind of mainstream in a way. Flat Earth is now, and it's just it's something that you hopefully learn as you go and become less paranoid. When you first wake up and you're thinking. Become suspicious of everything and everyone, and that paranoia will come back to reality a bit, and you adjust. And yeah, for sure, there's a much more interesting, fascinating, beautiful because of this flat Earth renaissance. It's a new creative period. It's a philosophy. It's very complex. The whole flat Earth thing really just sets the imagination free, and it's great.
I mean, one of the details that to address Ian from earlier, when you're like, well, surely it's a bigger deal than that. The biggest deal for me was learning that we're at the center of it all. When you find out that you're not hurling through space, we're on a plane of existence, that changes your perspective, right. Your outlook on where we are and what we are changes radically when you find that out. Hugely. Well, for me, that was the biggest sort of shock. Wow, we are genuinely significant suddenly, where we were totally insignificant before.
Yeah, for sure. Just
go on, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it's subjects. I mean, one of the things that Ian was saying earlier, this about watching science fiction programs and how that's changed now. It struck a thought with me that the whole space program, it's really tied to like a feel-good adventure dream thing, and it's this people have this deep attachment to this kind of reality that they've been programmed with, and so it's very hard for people to come to.
Yeah, I've certainly got a sense of loss initially. I think one of my first videos was the loss of space, and it was a little bit heartbreaking. I mean, I'd just finished, I've said this a few times, but I've just finished ripping like probably a couple of thousand movies onto my computer that I'd just built, and I've got about 15 terabytes of hard drives filled with high definition, all space, all sci-fi, all nonsense. So suddenly it's like almost redundant. I've not watched any of it, not watched any TV. Discovery Channel was completely pointless. Of the TV that I used to watch, Discovery Channel would be it. one of the main channels that you'd watch, and it would be all about space, of course, and then you find out that's all nonsense. Well, what are you going to watch now? You can't watch the sci-fi because you go, yeah, more indoctrination, more nonsense, more predictive programming, and you can't just help spot it. You ruin it for the people around you. I can't be trusted to watch a movie with anybody anymore. That's just keep me away because I'll be instantly hated.
Oh,
you're back on mute.
Dinosaurs are fake, don't you?
Yeah.
Like when they're watching Jurassic Park.
Yeah. You realize that the sun isn't 93 million miles away. You know that we can't get to space, right? That ruins a sci-fi movie for a lot of people.
You said about the NASA and the space program, the big like feel-good factor. I think you're right, because particularly America, don't take this the wrong way, American people, and for me as well, Independence Day, when that first came out, that was the best film I'd seen in such a long time, and it was a good big feel-good factor. The aliens come and we're all depleted, and then the Americans and they all go out and they win the thing. So yeah, the space program is promoted as a superhero thing, and same with NASA. If you're in NASA, wow, you're an astronaut. Wow, they're all bloody idiots, but that's the perceiving from the public of what an astronaut is an all-American hero. So yeah, I just agree with what you said earlier.
Yeah, you see them cheering, don't you, in the control rooms? What we get from NASA is them going, yes, because a little
and there's probably literally only 3 people in that room that actually know the truth. Probably 1, maybe 2, and it's generally that bloody idiot who they wheel out every time from NASA. I can't stand him. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but it's generally him. He's in control of it all, and then and then he says something, and then they all cheer. So I'm not sure if they all know, or it's just him that actually knows the truth, and they're all just thinking it's all real. Who knows? But yeah, bloody rubbish.
I'll round out you guys with a thought, or your thoughts on something that deep inside the rabbit hole David's been doing recently, which is putting together like a file that people could download to do a presentation on flat Earth. So it's got nice set slides, and this was taken from a bit of inspiration from Mark Knight, who recently put up a video doing exactly that. He went to somewhere and basically just did a public demonstration of what his knowledge and understanding was with slides. So David Weiss is putting together something similar that he'll make available, so that people have got a nice coherent set of slides to show people.
I'm literally going to do that. I'm going to take that presentation and I'm going to do it at some sort, I don't know, like the local Rotary Club in Swanage. I'm just going to do something mad like that and say, okay, come on, let's have it. Yeah, why not? It's a good idea.
I said that's exact same thing.
It should have been done ages ago. And we're probably just learning all the information, but we've not, like you say, there's no real, all the platforms are becoming a bit different. And this is another great platform to go and do it, get out there and go and do it. So I'm going to give it a go, yeah, and see how I get on. It'd be mad. I'll film it and then try and put it up. But as soon as he gets it available, I'm going to literally ask for a bit and then go for it. So.
Yeah, that's something I will reiterate that Stephen said earlier, which is that people go out after a couple of weeks and start, praising the flat Earth. And unfortunately, as a lot of flat earthers have found out on their road, you need to get a good grasp of heliocentric beliefs and find out what the arguments you're going to have presented to you by these people who may know more about how they think the world works than you understand about how it doesn't. So unfortunately, couple of weeks of a few flat Earth videos may not put you in the best position to debate flat Earth with your brother, mother, sister, friend. So yeah, you kind of have to contain yourself as much as it's easy to say.
Like my dad, he took physics, and when I first learned about it, I immediately went and I told him, just like I told him when I found out Paul was actually dead, and he's like a huge Beatles fan, and he sent me to one of those links, 10 reasons we know the Earth is a globe. And I was yeah, I was looking at those, maybe a week after being a flat earther, and I was like, okay, these are pretty weak, nothing really there. But I still didn't want to debate with my dad, but now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll debate with you anytime, but he just does not want to hear any of it. You know, people are really close-minded. Some people.
It's nice to see a few videos coming out from people on the globe side that don't know their model either. You know, they'll put out a really weak explanation for why the Earth is a globe. You know, Flat Earth Asshole recently pulled somebody to pieces on this. You know, with the based on the shadows on the moon, and it's like, hang on, you don't understand your own model.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Was there anything you guys wanted to add before I say a thank you to you all?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, in that case, I'll say a massive thank you. So thank you very much to Vincent of Free Channel Light. Thank you very much, Vincent.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry that we didn't get a really good conversation. It's a nice show. I have to say, I'm not a debating channel, and I want to give a shout out to Yvette and Snack to the Future, and of course everybody from FreeChan. We are open for everybody, and we try to keep it like a community, and we're having fun. So that's all I gotta say.
Perfect.
It's maybe a little bit weird. It's all that I gotta say. It's I'm not promoting the channel. I'm just here to because you invited me, and I wanted to say, yeah, well, debating channels, do whatever you want. If you want to come over to FreeChan, you're welcome, and be nice to each other and take care of each other and have fun. That's all.
Well said. It's been a real pleasure having you here, Vincent. And also,
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Stephen. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, Nathan. Good talking.
As always, thank you very much. Also, Ian Leahy, thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers.
And last but not least, fingers crossed, we can say goodbye. Ben, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah. Okay, guys, jump over to FreeChan. We have an after party there.
So yeah, thank you, Ben, for being here. Much obliged. And to all of us, all of you who have joined us in chat live, thank you very much for being here. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.